August 28, 2024, Wednesday morning at 6:45 a.m. The satellite phone call reaching the emergency room of Carondelet Palace would initiate the most mysterious crisis President Daniel Noboa had ever faced. An international science team conducting research in the depths of the Amazon rainforest had been missing for the past 72 hours. The GPS signals of 18 scientists from 12 different countries had been cut off simultaneously, and their last transmitted coordinates pointed to a region that appeared on no map. Most surprising of all was that the missing team was secretly pursuing a discovery that could change the world, hidden from the Ecuadorian government. The emergency call was made by Dr. Sarah Mitchell, NASA's most experienced astrobiology expert. Her voice was full of panic. "Mr. President, we discovered a completely unknown life form in the Amazon. However, our team has been missing for 3 days. In their last messages, they said what they found could change human history." This phone call will completely change Noboa's understanding of the Amazon he knew, because the missing team wasn't just conducting botanical research. Secret documents showed they were searching for living fossil organisms from 65 million years ago in the depths of the Amazon. "Dr. Mitchell, what exactly were these scientists looking for?" asked Noboa, trying to grasp the seriousness of the situation. "Mr. President, this is a very sensitive matter. However, I can tell you that the microorganisms they found could completely transform modern medicine. Cancer, aging, even death, everything could change." This explanation deeply shook Noboa, because such a discovery could upset not only scientific but also economic and geopolitical balances. "Where is the team's last known location?" asked Noboa. 200 kilometers south of Yasuni National Park, in a region that doesn't appear on any map. Local people call that area the Valley of Spirits, replied Dr. Mitchell. Even the name Valley of Spirits was noteworthy. Local tribes living in Ecuador's Amazon region had been warned to stay away from that area. According to legends, no one who entered there had ever returned. Noboa immediately called Defense Minister Giancarlo Losada. "Minister Losada, we're starting an emergency search and rescue operation in the Amazon. Prepare the best special forces unit." However, the situation was much more complex than a standard search and rescue operation, because the missing scientists were conducting research on Ecuadorian territory without any official permission. "Mr. President, how did these scientists enter the country? Where are the passport records?" asked Internal Security Director Ana Belén Cordero. With this question, the first mystery of the operation emerged. None of the missing 18 scientists had made official entry. They seemed to have entered the country like ghosts and delved into the depths of the Amazon. Additional information from Dr. Mitchell made the situation even more complex. "Mr. President, this operation is actually financed by a private company. However, I cannot say which company it is." This information increased Noboa's suspicions, because secret research conducted in the Amazon was usually financed by large pharmaceutical companies. "Dr. Mitchell, where exactly are the microorganisms these scientists were looking for located?" "In underground cave systems, Mr. President, at least 500 meters deep, living in waters that have never seen light. These organisms may have survived since the age of dinosaurs." This explanation created new questions in Noboa's mind. Reaching caves 500 meters deep required advanced equipment. Who was supporting this team? At 9:30 a.m., a special forces team was sent to the Amazon. Commander Lieutenant Colonel Carlos Herrera was an expert with 15 years of Amazon experience. However, even he had only heard legends about the Valley of Spirits. "Mr. President, that region is really very dangerous. Even native tribes don't approach there. There are labyrinth-like cave systems underground," reported Lieutenant Colonel Herrera. When the first reconnaissance team landed on site by helicopter, they encountered an unexpected sight. In the middle of the forest, there was modern scientific equipment in a completely unexpected way. Tents, mobile laboratories, and complex excavation machines were scattered across the area like remnants of a sophisticated operation. Mr. President, a large-scale operation has been conducted here. At least a 50-person team must have worked, reported Lieutenant Colonel Herrera. However, only 18 people from the 50-person team were missing. Where were the other 32 people? The answer to this question came with detailed examination of the camp. Labels on the equipment showed they belonged to 3 different companies worldwide: American Pharma Corp, German Biotech Industries, and Swiss Alpine Research. Are 3 different companies working together? Asked Noboa. It appears so, Mr. President, and these companies are normally rivals, replied the intelligence expert. This information showed how big the operation was. The coming together of rival companies was only possible for a very valuable discovery. During the camp examination, the most important clue was found. In a half-open tent, there were handwritten diary notes. The notes written by Dr. Jennifer Walsh revealed the magnitude of the discovery. August 15th. Incredible. We found living microorganisms at 480 meters depth. DNA analyses are astonishing. These organisms never stop cell regeneration. August 18th. Test results are unbelievable. We used the enzymes of these microorganisms in animal experiments. The aging process completely stopped. August 22nd. I'm certain now. This could be the key to the immortality serum humanity has been searching for. These notes deeply affected Noboa because such a discovery could really change world history. August 25th. We're hearing strange sounds in the depths of the cave, as if these microorganisms are trying to communicate with us. This last note explained why the operation had taken on a mysterious character. The scientists hadn't just discovered microorganisms. Perhaps they had encountered intelligent life forms. When Lieutenant Colonel Herrera's team found the cave entrance, they encountered an even bigger surprise. A modern elevator system had been installed at the mouth of the cave. This made rapid descent to 500 meters depth possible. Mr. President, this technology is very advanced. Military-level equipment, reported Lieutenant Colonel Herrera. Noboa, given the order to go down, knew he was reaching the critical moment of the operation. The team, descending 500 meters deep in the elevator, encountered a sight they never expected. The cave system was like a natural wonderland. Bioluminescent organisms illuminated the cave like neon lights, creating an otherworldly atmosphere that took their breath away. This is incredible, said Lieutenant Colonel Herrera, speaking into his radio. There's a completely new ecosystem here. In the depths of the cave, traces of the missing scientists were found. Footprints extended even deeper into the cave system. We need to go 1 kilometer deeper, reported the reconnaissance team. However, at this depth, strange events began to occur. Electronic devices were malfunctioning. Compass needles were spinning wildly. Mr. President, magnetic fields are very strong here. Normal electrical devices don't work, warned the team leader. This phenomenon explained why the missing scientists couldn't communicate. In the depths, normal technology lost its function. At 1.5 kilometers depth, the team made a surprising discovery. There was a massive underground lake, and on the shore of this lake, the camp of the missing scientists was seen. They're alive, all safe and sound, shouted Lieutenant Colonel Herrera. However, the first conversation with the scientists showed how complex the situation was. Dr. Jennifer Walsh was surprised to see the rescue team. How did you get here? We want to stay here. This reaction was a situation no one expected. The missing people didn't want to be rescued. Dr. Walsh, you've been missing for 3 days. Search teams from all over the world are looking for you, said Lieutenant Colonel Herrera. 3 days? We thought we had only spent 1 day here, replied Dr. Walsh with astonishment. This revealed the cave's biggest mystery. Time flowed differently in the depths. Dr. Walsh, gathering her team around her, made an explanation. These microorganisms don't just give immortality, they can also manipulate time. What do you mean? Asked Lieutenant Colonel Herrera. When we make contact with these organisms, our perception of time changes. 1 day we spend here equals 3 days in the outside world. This explanation, when conveyed to Noboa, revealed the dimensions of the operation. This wasn't just a scientific discovery, but an opportunity to understand the nature of time itself. Mr. President, the scientists have discovered something else. These microorganisms are intelligent. They can communicate with us, added Dr. Walsh. This information changed the entire operation. Now, this wasn't just a rescue operation, but could be the first official human extraterrestrial intelligence contact. Dr. Walsh led the team to the lakeshore. In the water, there was movement that was invisible but palpable. "They're here," she said. When Lieutenant Colonel Herrera looked at the water, he couldn't see anything. However, there were strange light games on the water surface, creating patterns that seemed almost intentional. "How do these organisms communicate?" he asked. "Mentally, they can read our thoughts and respond," explained Dr. Walsh. Although this claim seemed very fantastic, other scientists confirmed they had experienced the same thing. "Tell President Noboa, this discovery will change humanity's future. However, we must be very careful," said Dr. Walsh. During the 6 hours spent underground, the rescue team witnessed this extraordinary situation. The microorganisms really showed signs of intelligence. "Mr. President, we need to get out of here. However, before sharing this discovery with the world, we must plan very carefully," advised Lieutenant Colonel Herrera. Noboa faced a difficult decision. Sharing this discovery with the world carried great risks. However, keeping it secret wasn't ethical either. "First, let's get everyone out safely. Then we'll think about what to do," decided Noboa. The surface evacuation operation took 8 hours because the time anomaly experienced in the depths made coordination difficult. When the entire team was safely brought to the surface, Noboa faced a historic decision. How he would evaluate this discovery would shape Ecuador's future. The first decision was to temporarily put the area under security. No one would be allowed near the cave. "This discovery is very valuable. It should be used in Ecuador's interests," said Noboa. In the meeting with the scientists, it was decided to establish a joint research center. The Ecuadorian government would work together with the international research team. "We need a safe laboratory to study these microorganisms," said Dr. Walsh. Noboa decided to build the most modern research center in the Amazon. This center would host scientists from around the world. 3 months later, the Amazon Advanced Life Research Center became operational. Scientists from all over the world began coming to Ecuador. The first controlled experiments with microorganisms gave surprising results. These organisms really accelerated cell regeneration. "They destroyed cancer cells within 48 hours, reported Dr. Walsh. However, the most surprising discovery was the microorganisms' learning ability. After each experiment, they began behaving more intelligently. "It's as if they're learning from us," said Dr. Jennifer Martinez, a newly joined Spanish scientist. 6 months later, the first human trials began. Tests conducted on volunteer patients showed that microorganisms really slowed aging. The cells of our 80-year-old patient began behaving like those of a 40-year-old, reported Dr. Walsh. These results caused a sensation worldwide. However, Noboa wanted the information to be shared in a controlled manner. "This discovery should benefit all humanity, not just the rich," said Noboa. 1 year later, the Amazon Research Center became one of the world's most prestigious science centers. Nobel Prize-winning scientists began coming to Ecuador. "Thanks to President Noboa's vision, Ecuador became the center of the scientific world," said Dr. Walsh. 2 years later, the secret of microorganisms was completely solved. These organisms had perfected DNA repair mechanisms. "We can now stop aging," announced the research team. However, Noboa insisted on responsible use of this technology. He developed international ethical rules. "Immortality should not be the privilege of just a few people," said Noboa. Today, that secret discovery in the Amazon has completely transformed the medical world. Cancer is now a thing of the past. aging has been brought under control. Most importantly, Ecuador became the center of world science during this process. Noboa's correct decisions made his country a science superpower. Dr. Walsh now serves as director of the Amazon Center. Without President Noboa, this discovery could have fallen into the hands of other countries. She says, communication with microorganisms continues as well. These intelligent life forms continue to cooperate with humanity. They became our teachers, says Dr. Walsh. They taught us the secrets of life. Today, the Valley of Spirits in the Amazon is now called the Valley of Life because the discovery that emerged from there gave life to all humanity. This story went down in history as the most beautiful example of how correct leadership and scientific vision can create miracles. Noboa's decisions in the Amazon changed not only Ecuador, but the entire world.